Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, James Kelley. James is the CEO and co founder of qChange. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, James Kelley.
Hello.
James, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Siddique.
Thank you so much, James. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to launch on qChange?
Yeah, geez. So I'm in Bend, Oregon, which is a beautiful part of the world. I am surrounded by nature, which is amazing. And boy, there were like 4 questions in that, Siddique. I've already forgot 2 of them. Why did I start qChange? Is that the short of it?
Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to launch a qChange?
Thank you. So what happened is in 2018, I launched a book. I need to get a fancy green screen like you so I can point at my book, but I launched a book called The Crucible's Gift, 5 Lessons from Authentic Leaders That Thrive in Adversity, available on Amazon. And it was based on interviews of 125 CEOs and executives and coaches around the world, from Fortune 2 to entrepreneurs. So that was the catalyst for qChange, is trying to understand how people could be more authentic in their daily life. And so then I surrounded myself with people who are way smarter than me, way better at software technology, way better at human development. And then qChange was launched in July 2019.
Someone who just tuned in, they don't know what the qChange is. What you should tell them in 30 seconds?
I should tell them they should go install it in Microsoft Teams, give it a go, and let me know what they think.
Oh my God, you are a good student, James.
I'm a fast learner, Siddique.
Wonderful. Folks, if you don't know this one, this is a little secret joke because I just mentioned this before the interview. He applied it right then and there. I love it because like I apply live in a live interview. Wonderful. That is amazing. James, what are the top 3 success secrets? We are going to get to that in a moment. Before we get to the top 3 success secrets, we want to know about what are the top 3 missteps to avoid when they are implementing a new technology or growing their business. And
So when I was thinking about this interview and that question, because I looked at the video you sent, so thanks for that. I find what's really interesting about trying to avoid mistakes is that it's impossible to avoid. You can't avoid them. So the question is, how do you respond to them? And so if I think about the top 3 mistakes that people tend to make, it's 1, having expectations usually sets you up for disappointment, right? That's just reality. 2, if you want to be more practical, it's surrounding yourself with people that don't have a shared vision and goal when it comes to launching a business, doing software. And 3 is not listening to the patterns of the wind, if you will. And what I mean by that is I have a rule of 3. So if I hear something 3 times, I have a tendency to start listening much more intently around it because there might be some energy around that idea. So ignoring what you're hearing.
Ignoring what you're hearing. That's a good one. So you interviewed over 125, Fortune 2 to big and small coaches and all around the world. I'm sure you learned so much about their life stories, their business stories, and some were huge successful, some was a disaster failure. And maybe some of them you have a little story to share. I would like to share one single most professional failure you have observed in your professional life. What did you learn from it, and how did you recover from that?
Yeah. So my biggest professional failure is I've been fired directly twice, indirectly once. And so that's either I'm really good at getting fired or really bad at learning. I'm not sure which one. But the biggest outcome of that for me mentally, and I'm hugely in my head. I think psychology is everything in this world, and understanding yourself is number 1. The biggest learning from that is that I'm accountable for my own choices, and that in failure, there's actually more opportunity than not.
I'm sure if you are still working at that company, you would not launch this qChange then.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
So
100%.
everything leads to a certain something better for you. We just need to realize and capitalize on that one.
Yeah, I did a TEDx talk in 2019 in Muscat, Oman, of all places.
Yeah.
And the premise of the talk was about the questions you ask yourself. But one of the things, to your point, that I think is really powerful that people don't often get to fast enough, or at least get to ever, is when adversity happens, we often use the word to. It happened to me. And when you start using that preposition of to, you tend to play the victim role for quite some time. And what I found through all those interviews, all those successes and all those failures, mine as well, and Siddique, I'm sure you will 100% agree with this, is that as soon as you move from the word to the word for, it changes the psychology and mental framing inside your head. This happened for me. This failure was for me. And what I found with all these interviews and for myself is that as soon as I said, I'm not a victim, this is an opportunity, it opened the possibility of what was next. It didn't limit my thought process of what had happened.
That's good. And that allows you to live in the future and think about it instead of living in the past, because that's the baggage people carry on for life. Yeah, cool. So let's switch the side. And what are the top 3 success secrets of your professional life?
Yeah. So again, I can only speak for me, and I can only speak for some people I've talked to. For me, it's seek the opportunity that's in front of you. 2, be totally okay with failure, because failure is the only way you're going to learn, right? And understand your risk profile. And what I mean by that, especially as an entrepreneur, is if you're risk adverse, don't be an entrepreneur. Be a risk taker. And I think in all of those, and especially the last one, you have to be a risk taker, but with data, right? So don't be blind, but be purposeful with that risk.
Be purposeful with that risk. Yeah, risk taker. Of course, as an entrepreneur, you have to take a risk. Otherwise, just put your money in CD and make -1% every
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In fact, these days probably -3%. So,
I know. You're actually paying them to give you that CD. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, definitely. How the growth hacking secrets community people are watching this now or in future can support you, James?
The best way to support me, honestly, at this point in my life, is go find qChange on Microsoft Teams, install it, use it, and provide me feedback on how and what you love and what you would love to see different and better.
Wonderful. There are certain people who are watching this now or in future, they say, I want to know what this does before I actually install it.
Oh, so you want me to actually tell them that I'm using your tricks, Siddique. I'm trying to get them to use it.
I know this is an interview, so we have to cater everybody here. So
Yeah. So what I would say, here's what we do. If you think about all of the development and all of the meetings you're in, most meetings are poor. Not poor because you don't have an agenda, not poor because they go too long. They're poor because your mental framing isn't set up for that meeting. And often for many of us, we're working on different aspects of who we are as an individual. So our solution is very, very simple. It works again in Microsoft Teams, and it works around meetings. And here's how it works. I'm going to give you one sentence that will describe what happens. What we do is we help leaders grow by prompting, measuring, growing, and predicting leader team success in real time, all through Microsoft Teams. It's a low friction, high impact solution.
Low friction, high impact solution. Wonderful. This is good. And starts with, you have Microsoft Team with millions of people are using it. That's a no-brainer.
120 million to be exact.
120 million people are using it. You don't have to find any other platform, Just just install and get account with qChange.com. qChange.com. Visit that. It's amazing website. And I'm sure you have a lot to engage with the James Kelley's SaaS solution on this one. James, we are about to wrap up. We just met a few minutes ago. And what are your experience as a guest experience on a growth hacking secret show?
My experience, is I want to hug my computer just to say thank you. So I appreciate your time and energy, Siddique. And I think, this show is fun. It's short, it's sharp, and it's can be really impactful if you listen to the lessons from those coming on the show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
Final word for me is always about don't let fear conquer you, conquer your fear.
Conquer your fear. That's it. My final word is visit the qChange.com, adapt it. That will improve your life experience at the working place. You will find out the gaps, what people are saying, but they're not actually doing. So you measure it, improve it. That will increase the wealth, knowledge, and plus the environment where you are actually spending your whole day.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I don't know if you know this little fun fact, but you spend on average 84,000 plus hours of your life working. Why not make it a good experience as much as possible?
Wonderful, making a good experience with that. Thank you so much, James Kelley, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.